Hello everyone, and welcome to a new series where we'll be focusing on mods for retro titles that we know and love. As anyone that's been following the channel can tell you, we have a thing for the classics here at Weekend Moblin. So much so that we have covered many already. But at the end, that's just got us thinking. How can we still cover retro titles yet also provide something new while we're at it? Well, the answer is simple. Thanks to the amazing mods that are being constantly made. Kaze Mods just held F3, and with it, many new mods are in the works. And with one of the mods seeing release that very day. The mod I speak of is, I hope I'm not butchering your name by the way, is Reunu's Termina Invasion. Have you ever wondered what would happen if instead of Termina, Link ended up somewhere else? Well, this mod has your answers. Taking a new look at Mario 64's Peach's Castle, this mod takes place in the same world, but when Link crossed dimensions, he took the effects of Termina with him as the moon hangs ominously above the castle. This is something I never thought I would see in a proper game engine, but here I am today thanks to Reunu's fantastic work. This is Reunu's first mod, so let's keep that in mind when going forward. Matter of fact, this started off as a test project for the modder. Taking control of Link, but with the moveset of Mario, you will be tasked with collecting 5 to 7 notes for the Song of Time in order to climb Stone Tower and play the Song of Time, saving the day. Link looks like he did in Wind Waker, but with a chubby body of Mario. Not really sure why, but I like it. Once you've entered the castle, you will be greeted with the insides of Clock Tower, music and all. And from here on, other than some enemies and random NPCs, most everything will be from Majora's Mask. The first location you will be visiting is Snowhead, and I must say, the work on this place is something else to behold. The mountain village is where you will find the same house as the blacksmiths Sabora and Gabora, but to get inside you will need to press a switch first. Use the camera to angle things just right and enter through the chimney. Once inside, you'll find a pink bomb and a note for your efforts. Don't forget to talk with the pink bomb before grabbing the note, as you will need it to open a cannon for this next part. This is a simple concept as you just make your way up the mountain, by first using a gush of wind to carry you over to the cannon you had just previously opened, and aiming over top the giant snowballs. This will take some getting used to, as you will need to avoid the snowballs and use ledges in order to make your way to the top. If you go behind the mountain, however, you will find a great fairy fountain being guarded by a chain chomp. Avoid it and go in. Once inside, you can stand in the middle of the fountain to be teleported back to Clock Tower, but this time behind a gated wall. Hit the block to unlock invisibility, and then using that ability to go straight across, just go ahead and hit the button for the wing cap while you're at it. You'll need it for most of the remaining notes. But before we continue, let's take a moment to look at an Easter egg. This next note is right next to it, as a matter of fact. You can either make it to the top by using wall jumps and platforming skills, or simply use the owl statue at the bottom to teleport right where you need to be. But before grabbing the note inside the box, just continue to walk back once teleported, and you will be taken to an awesome little Easter egg with none other than the famous Wario apparition from recent creepypastas where every Mario 64 copy is personalized. The Wario apparition, however, was taken originally from a video going over Mario 64 in 1996's E3, with Wario saying,
"You think this is fun? Wario will show you fun."
So needless to say, this resonated with many people, and hacks are popping up lately with this creepy yet awesome Wario. I did manage to kill all the Wario heads, but nothing happened, so it's really just an Easter egg for those who happen to find it. Next, we will be collecting the 8 red coins per Mario 64 means. Use the cannon going platform to platform, climb your way up the mountain once again, and grab the remaining ones. Once done, go to the platform straight from Mario 64 itself and claim your note. This next one is pretty easy to notice if you find yourself looking at the moon as often as I do. With the obvious rupees to guide you on your way, claim a note from the moon itself instead of a tear this time. For the final 2, you will be racing Koopa the Quick and collecting 100 rupees. The collecting part is simple enough, as there's plenty of them laying around, and none are too hard to grab. Now as for the race, this is also pretty simple. Just push against the wind and keep pushing that joystick and don't let up, as this will easily take you on your way across. If he does pass you, no worries. Once you're in the clear, just wall jump your way in the lead, and bam, you are on your way to another note, as there's no snowballs to get in your way this time. Now that you've collected all the notes, keep in mind you don't actually need all 7, as 5 will do. Make your way to Stone Tower and make your way to the top to meet up with a red bomb and play the Song of Time, but in order to get to the top, you will need to have some pro Mario 64 skills, as the wall jumping segments here are absolutely insane and timing is key. I won't act like I didn't die a good number of times before managing to pull this off, but once I did, it was pretty rewarding, as some even more fun wall jumps met me along the path to the top. Just standing at the top of Stone Tower looking around in the Mario 64 engine felt good good, honestly. But the fun doesn't end here, as once the Song of Time is played, you will be greeted with the best part of this hack. In a twisted dimensional tear, you will find yourself going down a slide, long jumping, and platforming your way through a giant dog, Great Bay's lab, and a giant link as well, along with many other things. Once you've made your way to the warp pipe, you will need to use the invisible cap to make your way inside the Moon Observatory, straight from Majara's mask. Make sure you don't fall off the platforms, as when you're invisible, you will go right through them. Now time for the final showdown with Bowser. This takes place in Majara's mask, and it's the same as the final fight from Mario 64, requiring 3 hits to take him down. With only 3 spikes and a good distance, it's going to require a level of skill. Once you've taken him down, it's time to enjoy a trail down memory lane with the Toads and Red Bombs that you met throughout your adventure, saying their goodbyes and looking for their friend Jeff, whom you find, much like the Deku Butler's son from Majara's mask, along the way back to the Lost Woods. With a picture from Smash Brothers to end things off, we end this mod. For the next part, I wanted to ask the developer Reonu some questions about this mod, and lucky for me, they was more than happy to answer any questions I might have had. If you guys enjoy this type of thing, please let me know, and I'll try to have developer interviews for every mod I cover on the channel. With that being said, let's waste no time and get into the questions. What made you think of the idea for this ROM hack? Basically, Simple Flips announced a Zelda-themed Mario 64 ROM hack competition, and I knew I had to participate. So I decided I'd make it about Majara's mask specifically. Originally, I wanted it to be bigger, but I started off pretty late, and I was also pretty busy with Uni. At one point, Termina Field and Great Bay were both in the hack, but I didn't have time to properly make the levels, not to mention I had trouble coming up with ideas for these areas in the first place. What's your history with modding games? Well, ever since I was a kid, I've always liked messing with game files and seeing what would happen. Before Super Mario 64 tools were available, I would make dumb changes in the ROM with a hex editor and stuff like that. I also like to translate games into Spanish, but this is my first proper project. Obviously, you have a love for Majara's mask in Mario 64. I love details and stories about why people love certain games. Is there anything you would want to say about Majara's mask or Mario 64 that you think people would want to know? They're a pretty big part of my life, since Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time were the first 2 video games I ever played. Majara's mask came into my life a bit later, but I have even more fond memories with it. I'm also assuming, due to the Wario apparition Easter egg, one of my favorite things in the mod, by the way, probably, other than that wacky last area you had before you fought Bowser, that you might have some history with creepypasta. Is there anything you would like to say on the subject, and why you might have added in this Easter egg? Well, actually, sorry to disappoint, but not really. I just really liked the Super Mario 64 iceberg thing, and I decided to reference it. Though if you look at my channel, you'll see that I made some videos on the creepypasta, basically unsettling images and music, but I made these after the Wario Easter egg was implemented in the Termina invasion. What's the story with Jeff? Is it an inside joke, a reference to something? I'm honestly just curious. It's just a reference to the "My name is Jeff" meme, but I decided to turn him into a joke character again for no reason. What was the hardest part of development? When ROM Manager decided to randomly delete 4 areas from my hack, and I had to re-add them in every place object again. That was pretty horrible. Thankfully, none of these areas were in the main Snowhead area. If that got deleted, I probably would have just quit. Also, implementing the Link model, since I have 0 3D modeling skills, I'm starting to learn more though. In case it isn't obvious, it's just the Wind Waker Link head slapped onto Mario's body. Replacing the sounds for Mario was a pain too. Each sound plays at a different pitch, so I had to try random pitches for each and every individual sound until every sound played correctly. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the boulders. The stupid boulders. They're hard-coded to only spawn in one room of Hazy Maze Cave. I needed help from the Simple Flips Discord in order to remove the restriction with a hex edit. They're hard-coded to despawn when they reach a certain height. The Snowhead bottom floor is higher than that height, so the boulders would never despawn and the game would eventually crash from having too many boulders. Again, I needed help in order to change the despawn height. They spawn looking at a semi-random direction, which did make getting them to move like I wanted hard. Again, I needed help to change that. Getting the boulders to move like I want meant editing and mesh the map so they wouldn't fall off the path. Again, I have 0 3D modeling skills, for now at least. Again, I'm learning. This was a pain for me. Also, it's not like the physics are good or realistic in any way. I had to do it by trial and error, since sometimes the boulders would just go straight through the stuff for no reason. What was the funnest part of development? Mostly playtesting. I love seeing my ideas come into reality. It got me hooked, and that's why I want to continue making ROM hacks. It's just really satisfying to come up with an idea, and a few hours later have that idea in front of you, working. Is there anything you would like to add? I'm pretty shocked at the positive reception that I've got. I feel I don't deserve it, since it's such a small and short hack that I just made for a competition. I'm getting way more attention than people who make better and more impressive stuff. In any case, I'm doing my very best to learn and make a big hack that I can be properly proud of. Is there any future works you would like to tease? Termina Invasion version 2 with all areas from Termina included. This will take a long time because I'm now learning Decomp and Blender in order to switch to these tools instead of using ROM Manager and SketchUp. In case you don't know, Decomp is a full decomplication of the source code of Mario 64, which allows me to basically change anything I want in the game's code with 100% freedom. But in order to take advantage of it, I need to actually learn the code in C, so it's proven to be a pretty hard thing to fully take advantage of. Also, switching to Decomp means basically remaking everything that I already did in the original release, which to be honest isn't a bad thing, since I think I can make Snowhead better anyway. I've also been experimenting with other ideas, such as a hack set in the Bomberman 64 levels, but who knows if that will ever lead anywhere. Also, for this next version, I plan to actually make a proper N64 style Link model, since I do want this hack to be console compatible this time, and that means not using a crazy amount of polygons. Well, there you have it. You heard it from the man himself. Looks like this isn't the last we'll be seeing of him, nor is it of this mod in general. As we now know, we have an updated version to look forward to. Remade from the ground up with new levels and a lot more fun to be had. I would like to go ahead and point out that modding is a ton of work, and as Reonu said, he is still learning when it comes to modding, so please have patience and understand this will take some time to make. I hope you look forward to seeing it as much as I do, along with any other future projects. Being a big fan of both games this mod was based around, I honestly found myself enjoying it a great deal, and can't wait to see a longer version with more areas from Majora's Mask and a new model for Link while we're at it. Thank you, Reonu, for taking the time to answer my questions. And thank you everyone for watching. And until I find the next mod I would like to cover, that's it for now, everyone. Keep on being awesome. This has been Weekend Moblin saying, stay tuned till next time.